So just recording this live stream didn't work on Discord because of technical issues of some sorts. So weekly review for this week, and I'll do a quick weekly outlook on indices and my take on crypto and Bitcoin, etc. So the reason we had this huge dump here last week or this week, because first we have this yearly cycle sequential SMT between NQ and KD. So of course I don't use this in my day-to-day trading, it's not a part of my model. But for framing bias, it is definitely important and isn't something that we should be overlooking. Another thing is that you can see that this candle here is a precision swing point, right? With ES. And as we spoke about in the last video, is that precision swing points hold a lot of liquidity. So after this high is taken, we can expect a big or decent kind of size reversal to happen or retracement. And you would also know if you watched the last video that we can assign different numbers to cycles correlating to their magnitude. So a higher time frame cycle will have a higher number. So for the yearly cycle, we're going to label this number 6. What set this whole move up is this daily TPD that we have. So on Monday, we had a precision swing point, and you'll be able to see here our TPD is here. So if you don't know what TPD is, then you can watch the previous video, but it's in short our divergence between the close of the first candle and open of the third candle with that PSP on that swing point. This is that daily TPD that we have here to kind of set this move up. And now you can see we've traded into this precision breaker. So that low, high, low, low, high, high on the last up close candle. This candle here is a precision candle. You see we're closing bearish on the same candle here. So we have a PSP on YM. So this is that precision breaker. And yeah, we've traded into this daily bounce price range here. But you can see the same daily bounce, this BPR, is not being traded into. And this is another cracking correlation, isn't it? So it's SMTF or SMT fill. So this could be one of our confluences going into next week, looking for bullish setups. So we had this yearly cycle sequential SMT with NKD. If we go to 4-hour time frame to look at our monthly cycle, we have NKD failing to take out the previous week high, whereas on NQ we aren't. So this is a monthly cycle sequential SMT. We're going to assign the number 4 to that. So far we've already trumped the sequential SMTs, or the cracks and correlations below here. So we have a higher magnitude, which is why we were allowed to have this reversal. If this was of a lower magnitude to the ones on the lows, we wouldn't have had this big of a retracement or a reversal back into the stealing range. To kind of set this move up, on Wednesday we had a weekly cycle sequential SMT here between Tuesday and Wednesday when we had CPI. So we have a failure swing on ES and stop hunt on NQ. So we can then assign the number 3 to this. And we have a weekly precision swing point. So this candle here on between NQ and ES, which was confirming this move down. So potential trade, if you're trading the 1 hour, would have been on the close of this 1 hour candle. You could have held this into that position breaker or the balance price range on the daily. So far we've had the yearly cycle sequential SMT, monthly cycle sequential SMT, and weekly cycle sequential SMT. Another thing that you may have spotted was if I draw my true open out here, it would be here on NQ. So our true week open. I'll draw out the same true week open on YM. On Wednesday, it's quite clear that with CPI we pumped above the true week open, but then failed to do so on YM. So this is another cracking correlation between our true opens. So we've had multiple cracks and correlations. It's all happening between inside new week opening gaps, which is making this all higher probability. So to summarize, yearly cycles sequential SMT, monthly cycles sequential SMT, weekly cycles sequential SMT with PSPs to confirm this. And on top of that, we had this cracking correlation between the true week opens on NQ and YM. And that is the reason for this reversal that we've had here. Now, in terms of what we can expect in the following week or next week, the first thing is that SMT fill on that daily band price range. That's one stage. We also, if I draw a dealing range out, you can see how we're trading in discount of this range on NQ. In the same range on YM, we're still trading in premium. So this is also another cracking correlation between premium and discount, which could offer something or some sort of bullish setup next week. In terms of the news, there's not much going on next week. It's a pretty boring week. So our high probability trading days will be on Thursday and Friday, and we can expect that lower or higher of the week to form on Thursday. So our focus will be on these 2 days. That doesn't mean you can't trade Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but it will be lower probability conditions. So that's the indices kind of weekly review and weekly outlook. And I'll talk a bit about Bitcoin now and crypto. So onto the monthly time frame, you can see we have this 16-year cycle sequential SMT. Right? So this is kind of that first signal that we're potentially going to be bearish. So onto the weekly time frame, we have this yearly cycle sequential SMT between Bitcoin and Ethereum, with this weekly precision swing point as just formed. So this is telling us that we're setting up to go lower. As long as we remain below this low on Ethereum, I will be extremely bearish in the coming months. And you can see how on Bitcoin, we can't see here, but we had a hidden sequential SMT here on the quarterly cycle, I believe, which is why this is my first target. My first drawn liquidity for Bitcoin will be 49k, because we understand that liquidity rests below old or unsymmetrical highs and lows. That's also why 15k is a long-term target. As you can see, we have unsymmetrical lows here. So our target will be 15k. and we're going to be anticipating on the monthly cycle, we can expect to see potential failure swing on Ethereum on this high and stop hunt on NQ on this high, giving us at monthly cycles sequential SMT. Hopefully we will see 49k. And that is where I am in terms of crypto at the moment. It's all about patience. There's no point rushing in and taking shorts now. But this pump up with Donald Trump is going to be that kind of fake out, using those retail traders. So when everyone and their family starts buying Bitcoin because they see it on the news, that's when the market will dump and use all of those people as liquidity. So, summarize indices, we can look for potential bullish setups with that cracking correlation between the daily balanced price range and that premium discount. So now we'll just be looking for SMT to trump the SMTs that we had on the highs. If we do not get SMTs that are equal to the magnitude of the ones on the highs, all we can expect is a simple reversal, possibly into premium of this range, before continuing to go lower. So we have this SMT here. Potential draws on liquidities could be these lows here, these smooth lows, which cannot be ignored.